Welcome back to the Homeschool Shopping Channel. I am your host, Mackenzie, and I'm excited to have you here for the next, I don't know how long. I'm going to show you into what I'm going to purchase, my curriculum picks for next year. Specifically, I am doing all the big companies. I'm doing Abeka. I'm doing My Father's World. I'm doing Blossom and Root. I'm doing a lot of big curriculums, and I want to show you how I do them, how I get my children to learn so much in so little time. We do not spend a lot of time homeschooling. I have a child who has ADHD, so to get him, I got a certain window in order to work with him than I do other children. So, gonna get right to it, start showing you some stuff, because that's what I do. All right, so right away, we have this game called Troy, which may also be called Warriors. So I've also seen it called Warriors. And what it is, so you have a challenge. Now this is, these games, smart brain games, smart games, the reason I have so many of them is I use them for my ADHD child. So what you're gonna do, these are one of the few things he does that is good for critical thinking. Anyway, so you set it up like that. And then, so it'll start very easily. And then you have to put the castle pieces on. So you set it up exactly like that, but you have to make sure that all the blue are inside the castle pieces and all the red are outside, not trapped. So that's outside. So you got to make sure all the blue are in, and it gives you castle pieces here to do that. And it goes from, it says 8 and up, but like my 6-year-old does it, but he is a little advanced as far as solving problems go. But I really think 7-year-olds especially could probably do it. And then it gets harder and harder and harder. So that I definitely recommend. I'm telling you, I have a ton of smart games, like if you've seen them, and they're also solo games. So you can either play them by yourself or we can do them as a team. If you're I have one child who's into competition and, like you can play against him in a board game, and one who's like, no, it has to be cooperative or it doesn't work well. Let me show you to the curriculum choices of what I'm doing. So I'll start with my ADHD child. So he's about grade 1 level for some things he's not. So how do I cover so many? So for example, this is Abeka Science. So this was the grade 1 science. So I'm gonna show you something in it so you can just take a look. This is a book you do not need to purchase the teacher's manual with. It has a few questions, so for example, we're talking about ants here, all right? So we're talking about ants. It's interesting, it goes by real quick. Oh, we're done there. Real quick. And then it has, so this is a simple experiment. You can make an ant farm. So everything is in this book. And this is circle the correct answer. So an insect is an animal. So it's already covered this, that insects are animals, that a spider is not an insect. So it's covered it in here, so you don't need a teacher's manual. And them and I will sit down and we'll kind of figure out, so if I forget a question, if I forget an answer, I'll say, what do you think, or da-da, and then we can go back in and look, because it's only a couple pages. So that's kind of how Discovering God's World, the Abeka Science works. I have a couple things from Abeka. I also do it, and it's fairly well priced. I'm gonna tell you why I do it well priced. These books, any book that has writing in it. So for example, look. This is grammar and punctuation. This is an older one. They have a newer version now. I like the older one. It's $7. I'm gonna use this version. I believe I got it on Amazon. I got a new one. This was just an old one that I was looking through. So I'll show it through you. But generally, I don't have a lot of workbook things. But workbooks cannot be purchased, in my opinion, on eBay. You can't do it. It's dicey as to what you'll get if it's filled in, if pages are used or not. But all teacher's manuals can be. And teacher's manuals, if you look up, you need to look up from whatever website you get it from. If you get it from BJU Press, if you get it from wherever, you need to make sure that you have the same edition. The teacher's manual is generally the most expensive part of a program, not counting the books. And a lot of the books you can get at the library, right? We know that. Or you can get them used, or you can get them on thrift books. But those teacher's manuals, they will cost you a pretty penny. However, like I said, you can get them on eBay. So how do we cover so much? So speaking of my ADHD child, what we're doing is I already ordered grade 2 and grade 3 of science. I have a very specific science curriculum that I'm using when they get even older, and it is the real science for kids. But I'm gonna get Abeka, the 2nd and the 3rd years for science, and we're gonna cover it in 1 year. How do we do that? During breakfast, I feed them, we sit down and we read through these books. We sit on the couch. I want everyone to be comfy. I want to be comfy. So no, I'm not eating with my children. That is work for me. I get it. That's just a choice I made. So I make sure we have food, and then we sit down and I start reading through the science. It keeps him calm. He doesn't seem to mind it. Science is very interesting to him. And so we can do that and we can knock that out. If I get in, I don't do many experiments. There's some simple experiments in here. So I'm like, okay, that's great. We can go through it. If there's something in here that I read that I do not agree with, like for example, we don't have dairy too much in this house, like very rarely. And so if it says, oh, you need cows to drink for calcium, well, I don't agree because we can get calcium out other sources. So for example, I would just say, well, that's outdated. Like that's how I would explain it, because sometimes when you read things in books, I've just decided that you're not going to agree with 100% of the curriculum, no matter what. It just rarely is going to happen. I honestly want to take you through all the websites that I'm ordering from and explain to you why I'm ordering this and why I'm ordering this and why I think these are the best products and da 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 da. Okay, so reading for him. This is Progressive Phonics. It is free. And this is the reading curriculum that I'm currently starting with, and then I will switch to Craft Right Brain Readers. Now I am ordering, after you go through, this is how I did it with my other one, is I tried a bunch of reading curriculums. Finally, the fastest way to teach them to read are Craft Right Brain Readers. It was very quick learning, really sped it up, and I was like, great. So the family, okay? So cat, hat, mat, sat, rat. So I'm gonna flip to a page and show you. So he reads, his job is to read the red. Look at my cat, look, would you look at that? So he reads the red, I pause, then you go through, it gets to the cat. It goes on and on, right? So you get it, and then we move up to the next level, and then it's got a few more words. See, when the time you get to this, and I'm skipping a lot of pages, but by the time you read each story 3 times, by the time you get to the end, you're reading quite a few bit of words, and then we move on to the next level. So it's very quick, and I have tried. Now he has a phonetic problem. So I've tried many reading programs. My other child has autism, so that's why the Craft Right Brain Readers is the best program for them, I think, once they get through. Because again, we've done all about reading. We've done all this stuff. The progress was just very slow. They've done reading eggs, they've done a lot. Progress was just very slow until we picked up the Craft Right Brain Readers, which I've done a million videos. Covered math. Let me show you into the math for the youngest. We are continuing for him. I have tried a million different math curriculums with him. He's just not gonna be, he's very advanced at math. So when he was kindergarten level, he was like at grade 3 math. So he's very advanced with math, and he's got very little patience for sitting still, for easy math, for things like that. It's a blue book. Everything for my youngest is, you know how it is, you have colors for them, right? Everything for my youngest is red. Like it has to be red, or, oh my gosh, I don't love them. Now, one of the things I do, I'll show you math, and then I'm gonna tell you, so this is just their book that we spend 5 minutes going through. So we spend 5 minutes going through this book, right? And at the end, I have his math. So if you look at math, his handwriting is not very strong, but I know what he's saying. So handwriting with neurodiverse kids, not great, but his frustration level to practice it, off the charts. Off the charts, so I might do something like 1 line a day, practicing numbers, just so we can make progress on that. Because I know when he's older, we'll make more progress on the other handwriting, but when you're a parent, sometimes I think you just need to decide that it's not worth the aggravation and to put it off. So this is what I do, is I mark it in red, what we're gonna practice, to feel him out. I just wanna feel him out, like right here, 37 plus this, plus that, plus this, plus that. So if I know what he's saying, and he chose a red pencil, of course, I'm not gonna give drama or grief. I just wanna make sure he comprehends it. So essentially we're doing a grade 2 review right now. This is Math Mammoth. Just a grade 2 review just to see where they are and that he understands. So some of it we're not writing down, some of it, just so that we can move on to the next level. I wanna make sure. So that is my one child. Now, let me tell you what I do so that they memorize, so that they really learn the science stuff that we cover. I do it with anything though that we learn. Anything that we learn, even if it would be in this book, because maybe with this book, I might sit down. So rule number 1, a sentence is a whole thought. A sentence, the dog ran. Bob hits the ball. Not a sentence, the dog hits the ball. So I might, again, sit down while we're eating and just do these books without the handwriting, like just the discussion, like, okay, point 2, all right, in this case, it says circle the sentences. I would say, yes or no, is this a sentence? Yes or no, is this a sentence? right? And that's how we would go through it. Whatever, these are what I've chosen, but we go through it really fast. So we can go through this level of science, which covers a lot. This is their first grade reader, which you can start it in kindergarten. It's not complicated at all. It's very simple, to the point. I would pick out the main points in here, like that insects have 6 legs, true or false, and why is the caterpillar considered an insect? All these things, and I would put them in this book. I would print it off Canva, make a page of it, and then it would be in this book. And in this book, it would take us 5 minutes to go through it. We go through it. It's just something you got to do every day, or not every day, but I'm going to try to do more every day. We go through it until they memorize it. Then I take it out. I put it in my book, and then I'll put it back in as I use it as for testing. We do a really fun testing just so I can see what they know, just to reinforce it. And then I'll put it back in at a later date to go over again. So this is how I'm able to do so many curriculums, like My Father's World, like Abeka, like I'm covering a lot of material. So the next child we're talking about, we're doing, now this is grade 2 and grade 3 picks. So I'm going to show you a lot of them on the screen. First of all, I want to tell you that we did, to teach him to read, he is now 8. So he's advanced in some subjects and not in some other subjects. So math, we're going to do alpha. So I'm thinking maybe I hear that this curriculum, Math UC, is very good for autistic children. So we will see if he can just grasp it another way. He can do it. Right now we are doing a review of grade 1. Reading, I did a bunch of different reading programs, a bunch of different language arts programs. I realized very early on, due to handwriting, not dyscalculia, I forget what the other one's called, dysgraphia, that handwriting's not happening. Like, it's not happening. Like, he can, yeah. Okay, so I did craft right brain readers, got him to read very quickly after we tried All About Reading, we tried a bunch of different ones. It was just such slow progress that but it was fun. I'm not saying it wasn't fun. I'm not saying it wouldn't have worked. Once your kids can read independently, I feel like your life as a teacher can open up a bit more. So the thing is that there's a lot of really good readers out there. There's a lot of readers that aren't that good. But we just are such a reading family, him and I, but me reading. And then we do it together, me reading. So what I'm doing is now I'm going back to some of the best readers I've ever seen are Abeka. And this is the most expensive part of the curriculum, is the Abeka readers. You can get them used. I bought some used, some new. I bought the teacher's manual for some of them and realized you don't need it. You do not need it. The teacher's manual at all. I'm not saying it doesn't add something to it. So now we're going back. To try and read. So Fun Stories with Pet. Now understand, this is 1A. 1A, he's reading on his own, 1A and 1B and 1C. He knows how to do it, but just so that when he gets up to, he can start reading some of these books independently on his own. Okay, so yeah, we're reading through, and he's done this a million times, like The Fat Rat. Who doesn't know The Fat Rat, right? So going through and reading it and then starting on SAC, just so that it's got some of the words in there, just so that we can just continue to progress through. So the first A, B, and C, not that interesting. But once you start getting up there, they're fantastic readers. I adore them. I love them. I think they're great. But in the beginning, they're not that great. They're not that interesting. But again, I am focusing this year on American history. So I'm going to go online now and I'm going to show you some of the curriculum choices. But anything that we can sit on the couch there and read. I even bought one of those things down there so that he could do math work, we could do math work, everything can be done just sitting on the couch, relaxing and enjoying our company and reading. All right, make sure you check out next video because I'm doing an in-depth Brave writer review. Some of the program I 100% love, and some of it, if you watch my last video about how I ranked all the programs of what I thought were great and not great, 2 of the programs, best programs ever. One of them, I would throw it in the trash. I know, that sounds so mean. I know. Okay, let me go through on my eBay and show you, because in order to save money, you can buy the teacher's editions of pretty much anything. You just got to make sure it's the current edition, the same edition that you're buying the book at. The student manuals, you need to buy new because there's writing in them, and trust me, I've done it. Don't do it. But the teacher's manual, go for it. Always buy used on eBay. So I'm going to do, because I'm going to do a few science textbooks. I haven't picked out my other science textbooks. I like to go through a few of them. Here, what I'm looking at is there is just a lot of old, like there's no teacher's manual for the current one. So, and I'm just not going to buy it because honestly, you really don't need the teacher's manuals for young kids. Generally, you don't. If you don't know an answer, if you and your child can't figure out an answer, I'm like, hey, well, let's look through it again and try and figure it out. Okay, so I'm going to show you reading pathways, heritage studies. Heritage studies, I will show you that when it comes in, but essentially this is from BJU Press. I'm thinking of maybe getting the science textbooks from BJU Press. I don't know. I wasn't super impressed when I started reading it, but maybe. I also have another game, another smart game for my older child. So once he goes through and does all that last smart game, the Troy one I showed you today, then I'm going to try this system and see if it works. I'm going to be like, okay, well, that's like your reward is you get the next smart game. And that would be this one, which is Circuit Travels. So IQ Circuit Travels. Next up, I'm also ordering some manipulatives. I think I gave them the wrong address because we had just moved recently. So I think I gave them the wrong address. So I might have to reorder the Matthew C. manipulatives integer box. That is unfortunate because that is unfortunate to me if I did that because that seemed like a really good deal. And then again, I gave them the wrong address. So the story of the US, which is from My Father's World. So let me go through each page and show you what I'm thinking. So remember, I got a 6-year-old who debatable whether it's kindergarten because social emotionally he's 3 years behind. So he's sometimes like a 3-year-old, but intelligence wise, very intelligent, very quick, remembers things very easily. So Adventures in U.S. History package. Okay, so let's break down this and I'll show you what we're going to do. So I already went through the biggest cost for this curriculum. This is from grade 1 to 3. Now, the biggest cost for Adventures in U.S. History is the teacher's manual. That's like $145 right off the rip. However, you can buy used ones on eBay, but they're still really pricey. And it's a lot of it is a schedule and telling you, okay, this is what you're going to read this day. And I just don't do that. We cover a lot of ground because we're not switching subjects. We're not like, okay, we read one chapter in this. Now we're going to go on and read another chapter of this. So America, Pioneers and Patriots, I have it. I have a couple different Bibles I'm going to try out. This is one of them that I'm going to try out. I'd really like a Bible curriculum, but I have yet to find one. So far we go through, we read the stories in the Bible and we ask, what do you think God's trying to tell us through this story? So that's how we do it. That's kind of our Bible curriculum. I want that story. I want that story. I want that story. I want that story. I want. I was thinking of skipping a lot of these science ones, science in the kitchen, science in the air. Right now I have a stack of what I'm going to go through and I just keep filing it in. And as we go through, all right, I put it in the done pile. Sometimes we'll go back and we redo it if it's interesting enough. So I'm going to get that map. I'm going to get 2. We do not do a lot of group subjects. We do not. We read science together. That's a group subject, but generally it's just not happening. But I'm going to try one group subject that we are going to do. Let me go down here is this. I can do all things. So we'll see. This is a sample. So light red, medium red, dark red. We're going to see how it goes. I'm going to get 2, 1 for each of them. We got the DVDs. We're going to see how it goes. So art is one of the subjects that we're going to try and do. I do want patriotic songs of the USA. I'm going to invest in a CD player. I can't believe I have to say that. Like I already have a DVD player because I didn't want him watching YouTube. So I got a DVD player and I get a bunch of DVDs for the library. Like I told you, Matthew C for one child is what we're going to do, and then Math Mammoth for the other child. I'm going to get, there's DVDs involved with that. I thought I would get 2 sticker books so that hopefully we could do the states and the sticker books, but I feel like that might be as we cover them. I read this and I thought it seemed interesting enough. That's actually Leif Erikson, not Leif Erikson, as I heard on another video. So I read a couple of the samples. I thought it sounded pretty good, kind of interesting. So I was like, I like that we're cutting these out and can do kind of a board. And as we go through the Bible, then there are matching timeline pieces. Next up, let's do a Becca. So I ignore all the video stuff because the videos, I feel like they're not updated, but I don't know. Okay, so let's do grade 2 child kit. And then there's grade 2 parent kit. So see how much it is for the child kit. I have gone through all this. This I'm getting are America and I'm getting Enjoying God's World. So these books I all own. This was the most expensive part. I bought all the Abeccas for at least up to grade 4. I bought all the readers and it was pricey. I'm really glad I did it. Tell you right now. But if I go back, maybe I wouldn't get as many. The Arithmetic 2, still very good math program. Not using that math program though. I just had to choose. I had to choose math programs. It's kind of hard to choose. So now if you look and you pull it up, you will also see, okay, so this is the grade 2 parent kit. So if you look through here, generally I went through and I was like, no, it's pretty intensive. I'm just not doing that. Sunlight I bought HBL for a few years. So I have this. I wasn't super impressed with either of it. This I wanted to toss out. It's completely useless for year one. I mean, it's like a book you can buy on Amazon. It's just for a company called Sunlight. I've told you this 100 times. I'm not impressed with how they do their Bible stuff. I am not. So they do have the timeline stuff. Honey, what's the matter? Like, these would be big readers. Then again, I would take the important information from it, put it into a book so that we learn. Because like when you think about a history, what do you got to learn? Like, so you're also learning social studies. You're also learning a lot of different stuff through that. Okay, Torchlight. Torchlight I'm very excited about. Torchlight is a secular program. I don't know what it is. First of all, I always go to their book lists. So I'm going to go through and pick out some read-alouds. I'm not going to pick out that many. I'm going to try not to go to the library that much this year. I know, which sounds crazy, but if you see the amount of books and that just the amount of books I bring home that we read, like picture books and stuff, I kind of want to just try and focus just a touch more on read-alouds and things like that and some of the stuff that I have. That we read, because I have such a big library. Trinket, that just looks like a great cover. The 7 Tales of Trinket. So this is Christian book. This is where I'm getting the bulk of my curriculum, not counting my father's world. This is where I'm getting the bulk of the curriculum. So these are what is my cart. I told you, Exploring Our America, Exploring God's World. BJU Press, their website is pretty difficult. I don't know if you've been on it. So the Curious Kinder has a brand new kindergarten curriculum that I've asked her if I can take a look at it because I don't have a kindergartner anymore. I mean, it looks amazing. And I have asked her if I can please take a look at it so I can show you on this channel. But anyway, so she recommends the Kingdom of God Bible Storybook. So that's what I'm getting. So I will look in here. I will make sure that this is published in 2022. Let me just check that right now. 2023. All right, I feel like, wow, stepping up. If you look inside, it covers a lot of things, but I want, again, us to go through the Bible. Oh, speaking of which, that was a lot of the things I was getting that I didn't show you here. Let's go back to adventures. So let me go back to grade 1. Let me go up here. Shop by grade. Now, this is what irritates me about this, is that anytime you save anything on my father's world, it's gone within 24 hours. Anything you save on the Christian books is saved forever. So the same with thrift books, it's saved forever. So new to my father's world, select a grade. Let's do grade 1. Grade 1, I think, is what I want because I want that book. So let's see. These are one of the things I'm getting that I haven't put in. Right there, my big book 5-minute devotionals. I was thinking of getting that one, and I was thinking of getting that one as well. We will see. So yeah, that's what I was thinking of getting out of this. I have that. Peter and the Wolf, that one. I ordered that from the library. That's a list of Christian books. Enjoying Art Together. That's another one I was thinking of getting. So again, there's no point in me loading up my cart here because it's not going to save it. It kind of sucks when you're like, what? You didn't save it? Meanie. So back to this, almost done in my purchases of what I'm going to buy this year. Dun, 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 all the curriculum. So this reading pathways, let me show you in this. This looks super interesting. Super interesting for where I'm at. So Jim had Twig. Jim hid Kit's wig in Rick's. Jim hid Kit's wig in Rick's dish. Jim hid Kit's Rick in Rick's red dish. Okay, Explode the Code. So again, I got Explode the Code. I didn't care for it when they were younger. The beginning stuff, I was like, I just had trouble with it personally. I don't know how I learned to read. I'm a voracious reader, but I struggled reading. And so that's probably why phonics is not that interesting to me. But I like this. Look, sometimes two little words put together make one word. So inside, catfish, hillside. These are another thing I could read to both of them, I think. But I think just the older one, I think, is what we'll do. And then we'll save for the one when he gets older. So that's what I'm doing. So even though I've never done Explode the Code, I feel pretty good getting Explode the Code 4. And let's see, lastly, what is in my cart. So because with this guy over here, I do math equations. I'm almost done. So I'm going to get one of these composition books because he likes red. And so he's going to do, so sometimes we pose math questions to each other after we do math stuff, right? And so I pose questions to him. He poses them to me. So that is what, so anyway, I wanted him to have a composition book for that. And then anyway, back to my cart. Almost done. Almost through my cart. I know. I'm buying so much. I know. Logic links. So this is very quickly, this is the word a day. This is the Action Bible. So Action Bible looked very interesting to me, so I thought I'd try it because apparently I have a problem buying homeschool curriculum. I do not have a lot of restraint, but that's why I buy a lot of it used. So I may check on eBay to see if they have this, to see if they do, but day 4, so it's the action. So it's just, it's an Action Bible, so it looks interesting. And then what is left? There's only one more thing I want to show you inside. And this is what we're going to try. So I got the logic links. Look how interesting this looks for this guy right here to do. So it's just for us to use our logic. And I thought it looked good. So it comes with chips. And to use 2 purple chips and 2 orange chips. But then clue number 1 is both ends are the same color. And the left end is purple. This one. Then we're doing my body. Does this look interesting to you? We're going to work on my body together. We each get a book, so my heart and my brain, and I think it's an activity book, yeah? So I thought we would each...
I did tell you right now.
Yeah. So this is what we're going to cover.
I tell you.
Could you tell me before...
I'm going on a walk.
You're going on a walk? Well, wait for me. Don't go without Mom. So,
No,
can we say goodbye?
Goodbye. I don't want to walk alone.
Well, now, let's talk about that. Give me a minute. I'm stopping this right now. So thank you very much for tuning in. Can you say, please like and subscribe?
Please do right.
And hit the bell for notifications.
Hit bell, you know, that's